If you have been waiting for The Elder Scrolls 6 since the year 2018, I have some actual news for you today, and not just another rumor pulled out of thin air. The head of Xbox just sat down, watched a live playthrough of the game with her own eyes, and came away calling it incredible. But that is not even the biggest part of this story. Buried inside her post is what might be the very first real clue about the game's subtitle, something Bethesda has kept locked away for almost 8 years. So stick with me, because by the end of this video we are going to break down exactly what was said, what it might mean, and why some fans think this is the closest we have ever gotten to the truth. Let's set the scene first. On 11th August 2026, Xbox CEO Asha Sharma traveled out to Bethesda Game Studios' offices in Rockville, Maryland. This was not a leak, not a screenshot smuggled out by an anonymous insider. This was the actual head of Xbox walking into the building and watching the game running live. Afterward, she posted about the experience on X, and her words were short but loaded. She wrote that she had just watched a live playthrough of The Elder Scrolls 6, and then, instead of typing out a subtitle, she used 8 asterisks. Then she added that the scale and grandeur of the game are incredible, and that the story is even greater. Now on the surface, that is just a nice compliment from an executive who liked what she saw. Studio heads say things like this all the time. But it's what came right after the words Elder Scrolls 6 that got the entire community talking. 8 stars, sitting exactly where a subtitle would normally go. If you know your Elder Scrolls history, every single mainline numbered game has carried a name beyond just a number. We got Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. So the expectation has always been that number 6 will follow the same pattern. The question fans have been asking for years is simply, what will that name be? And now, for the first time, we might have a real hint sitting right there in plain sight. Here is where it gets even more interesting. Bethesda Game Studios did not stay quiet. The official studio account replied directly to Sharma's post, thanking her for the visit. And in that reply, they used the exact same trick. They said it was great being able to show her the game, and in place of the subtitle, they typed 8 asterisks as well. Not 7, not 9, 8, matching perfectly with what the CEO had posted. When two separate accounts, one belonging to the head of Xbox and one belonging to the actual development studio, use the identical redaction with the identical character count, that starts to look a lot less like a coincidence and a lot more like a deliberate tease. So naturally, the internet did what the internet always does, and started counting letters. If the subtitle really is 8 characters long, that opens up a fairly short list of realistic candidates drawn straight from Elder Scrolls lore. One popular guess is Dominion, which ties directly into the Aldmeri Dominion, the Elven Empire that has loomed over the story for years, and it happens to fit the 8-letter count perfectly. Another theory floating around is Sentinel, a city in Hammerfell that has long been connected to rumored codenames for this project. A third idea gaining traction is High Rock, one of the provinces many fans believe could be the actual setting for the new game, especially given the mountainous, coastal landscape shown in Bethesda's very first teaser trailer all the way back in 2018. Redguard has also come up, since it doubles as both a location and a cultural identity within the world, and it lines up with the letter count too. Now, I want to be honest with you here, because it is important not to get ahead of ourselves. None of this is confirmed. Bethesda has not announced a setting, has not announced a subtitle, and has not said the number 8 refers to letters at all. It is entirely possible those asterisks are just a fun way of saying, we are not telling you anything yet, without any hidden meaning behind the exact count. But the fact that 2 official accounts use the same number back to back is the kind of detail that keeps this fandom buzzing for weeks, and honestly, that might be exactly the point. Let's talk about timing too, because context matters here. This visit did not happen in a vacuum. Back in June of 2026, Xbox's chief content officer, Matt Booty, also visited Bethesda and said the game looked amazing and was coming along well. Then in July, Bethesda itself gave a rare public update, acknowledging that it has been a very long wait for fans, but stating plainly that the next chapter is on the way, and that the team is where they plan to be, loving how it looks, and playing it every single day. So what we are seeing now is not an isolated moment. It is part of a slow, steady drip of reassurance from both Xbox and Bethesda that this game is real, it is playable, and it is moving forward. At the same time, it is worth remembering the bigger picture around Bethesda right now. This visit came during a period of real tension inside the company. The Bethesda Game Studios Union, known as 1BGS, placed hundreds of flags outside the studio's headquarters around the same time as Sharma's visit, each flag representing a Microsoft game worker laid off during 2026. So while the headline here is exciting, it is happening against the backdrop of a games industry that has had a genuinely difficult year, and that context is worth keeping in mind. So what does all of this actually mean for a release date? Honestly, probably not much, at least not yet. Bethesda's Todd Howard said back in February that fans should expect it to be a while yet before release, even while acknowledging the game had passed a major internal milestone. Nothing in this new update changes that timeline in any official way. A live playthrough for the CEO of Xbox is a great sign of internal progress, but it is a long way from a release date, a gameplay trailer, or a showcase appearance. So here is where I land on all of this. What we know for certain is that The Elder Scrolls 6 exists. It is playable at a state polished enough to show to the CEO of Xbox, and both Xbox and Bethesda seem newly comfortable teasing details in public after years of near total silence. What we do not know is the subtitle, the setting, or the release window, and anyone telling you they know for sure at this point is guessing just like the rest of us.